welcome to the channel. Welcome back to Suburban Jay's Garage. I'm here in the garage today, and I'm going to be working on a little 5.3 Junkyard motor. This is a Junkyard special, literally. I actually bought it from my brother from his junkyard down in Rome County. King's Truck and Auto, by the way, is the name of their junkyard. And this was an engine that came out of a 2000 Chevrolet truck. It's something that I'm hoping that I can rebuild and put in a muscle car project that I have. So I'm actually working on a 67 Chevelle Malibu car that we're going to maybe fix up for my son. And hopefully you'll get to see that on the channel here soon-ish. But right now I wanted to see what we've got as far as this little 5.3. I wanted to kind of go through it, see what's good, what isn't good. I know for a fact the engine did have a tick in it. What that tick is or was, I have no idea. You know, it does turn over freely by hand. It had oil in it. There wasn't any water like in the oil pan or anything like that. And when they took it out, they did cover it up. So hopefully there's more good parts in here than bad parts. But the goal today is to take it apart, see what we're working with. And then, you know, hopefully, like I said, there's some good pieces in here that we can use. I'm hoping to be able to build a block and maybe port the heads. And maybe one day, if I can get the money together, I'd like to put a small cam in it. And I'd love to put a little LSA blower on it. I think a root style or twin screw, whatever you want to call it, style blower would be really fun on one of these. I've seen a couple different people on YouTube that has done something like that. You know, making 500 plus wheel horsepower to the wheels. And I think that'd be pretty fun. So today, like I said, what we're going to do is just work on taking this sucker apart, seeing what it looks like, seeing what is good or isn't. So we'll jump right into that, start jumping into disassemble. And so wish me luck. Here we go. All right, guys, so here's my helper today. This is my son, Paxton. This is really who I'm building the motor for, to be able to put in that little car that we were talking about earlier, that little Chevelle. So he's going to help me and hopefully learn a little bit about the inside of an engine, and hopefully we both learn some stuff today. So you excited to learn?
Yes. All
right, good deal. Well, let's do it, man. Thumbs up. We started off by taking the spark plugs out. Now I'm going to start buzzing a few things loose here. So for example, I'm going to take the steam ports loose in the front. This is just to move antifreeze and water from head to head. And then the next thing I plan on taking apart, ooh, that thing is nasty. Okay. Then I'm going to start taking apart, taking off the valve covers on this thing to see what we've got. And then I can show you all down inside the motor. Like I said, hopefully it's good news. Hopefully there's not broken parts all in here, but we're about to find out in just a moment, aren't we? So, fun times. And I have a ratchet, a Milwaukee, I think it's an M12 or M18 or something ratchet, and I've looked everywhere for that thing. I don't know what I've done with it. It's in a drawer somewhere. I can't seem to locate it, so I'm using a lot more hand tools today than typically I would be, but here we are, so it's all right. Well, it's looking pretty good on this side. Let me show y'all what I'm looking at. All right, so you can kind of see down in there. All the rockers look pretty good. This is the 862 heads. Hopefully it is truly a 5.3. That's what I was told. I should be able to tell when I get the heads off and look down at the pistons. Should be able to tell if it is. But everything looks really clean in this thing, as you can tell. Looks really good. Looks like we got a exhaust valve depressed there, so, and there as well. So we'll see what we got. All right, let's get to town on pulling these rocker stands off, pulling the other valve cover off as well, taking a look in that side, and then we'll start, then we'll next take off probably the valley cover. So, all right, here we go. All right, guys, so here's the other head, the driver's side head. I definitely got some sludge built up in there. I don't know if you can quite see it where I've got this camera held. Let me see if I can do something here to the camera. 1 second. This is really hard to see down in there. Let me see. All right, let's see what that does. Yeah, there's a little sludge built up in there, as you can see around the, right in there and right in there. You can see it down in the bottom there. Just around the head bolts itself. So that probably tells me that the oil on this thing wasn't changed as frequently as we would have liked it to be changed. But it don't look terrible. I mean, it's definitely not the worst I've ever seen on inside a motor, but not the best either. So we'll keep trucking along, see what we've got. Sorry, I'm kind of fighting the daylight outside, as far as being able to see some of these things in here. I'm doing my best to try to get y'all a good glimpse on what the inside of it looks like. The other side looked way better. I didn't see any sludge in there. This side's got some sludge. So we'll see how it keeps going and keeps progressing. Well, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Like when I look at tips of the valves so far, they look really clean. I don't see any that are mushroomed out crazy. I don't see any needle bearings from these rockers. They say the needle bearings in these like to fail or go bad. I don't see anything like that at the top of the engine. So that's a really good sign so far. Take all the good luck I can get for sure. When you're talking about building a junkyard motor, you don't really know what you're working with. You don't know exactly how many miles were on it. I think this thing had around 200,000 if I remember. But I will say, I've already peeled them off, but on the end of each one of these heads, there was a reman sticker on each one of the heads where the heads have been remanufactured. So at some point in time, the heads have been off this thing, which could explain why it's pretty clean on the top end. However, I don't know what the bottom end looks like. So that's kind of the part I'm most interested about. And the part that I really want to build. I want the heads to be good as well. So both are in good shape. That's a plus all the way around. But if for some reason, I've got a warped head or something else, these heads are pretty affordable, pretty easy to get. Especially these 862 early version heads are pretty easy to get for small nominal fee. So I'm not too worried about it. However, if the block is damaged or, it's scored to pieces or it can't be honed or bored or whatever to clean it up, then of course that's a lot more money. And from what I gather with these little 5.3s, you can only go so big. You can only, I think, go to the standard bore of what a LS1 is about the max you can bore these out. I know traditional small block Chevys, I've seen people go up to, say, 60 over, right? 40 over safe, but run 60 over for quite some time. You can't go that big on one of these from what I understand. So, all right, well, let's start taking these rockers off. I do want to try to label these. So what I am going to do is try to label each one of these rockers. Don't really have a way I can write on them per se, but I think what I'll do is put them over here on this table behind me. and put them in order. And then that way I'll know exactly what I'm looking at. So let's start taking these off and get that going. All right, so I already pulled number 8 off. Here comes number 6. Number 4. And numero dos. All right, and just to show you kind of what I'm doing over here on the side, I don't have a nice little tray or anything to put them in, so I'm just labeling them, put them on a piece of cardboard, labeling these suckers out, so that way I know where they go. My understanding is it's good, you know, if you got a motor that's all broken in, it's good to put these things back where they were, so I'm trying to do that if at all possible. All right, I'll pull these push rods out. All right, those are all, looks to be 15s. 15, 15, 15, okay. Those are 15s as well. These up top look a little bitty. Let's see what those are. Start buzzing these out real quick. All right, Pax, so what have you learned here today, man? Tell me something you learned. Do you know what these are that I'm taking off right now? These bolts, do you know what these hold down? All right, we gotta make sure we're paying attention. These are called rocker arms. So you see these rocker arms right here? I'll show you something about them real quick. So you can kind of look and see which one is pointing over which side, right? So this is the exhaust side, okay? The one that's sitting here is on the intake side, all right? So you can kind of see that, you know, looking down through here, right in there, that's the valve that goes up and down right here. That's the exhaust where the exhaust gases come out. This is the intake where the fuel and air come in from the intake and then go in there and mix in the combustion chamber. These are the rocker arms. These rocker arms actually go up and down like this right here, right? And move the intake valve and the exhaust valve based on whatever duration the cam is. and it's, you know, circulates air throughout the motor basically. Air, an engine is basically a big air pump. So it's allowing that air to get down the cylinders, make a combustion, and then push that waste out here at the exhaust. And it does lots and lots of those. So what are these again now, dude? What are these called? I just told you.
Rocket arms.
Rocker arms. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Rocket arms, close enough. We'll take that to win. Good job, man. All right, let's get these suckers off real quick. Almost got this side ready for the head to come off. All right, so this is number one. Now the way these are is they're one, this is 3,
4, 5.
no, 1, 3, 5, and 7.
1, 3, 5, and 7.
Yep, 1,
3, 4,
3,
5.
5.
7. Maybe.
7. You got it.
Yes.
So what that means is that's the cylinders we're looking at. That's cylinder 1, 3, 5, 7. Just like over here is 2, 4, 6, 8. Make sense? All right, bro. Cut that off. Let's get the rocker stands out of here. All right, let's get this bad boy out. And I'll probably get in judgment from people here because I'm not using the impact sockets, but hey, whatevs. I believe I said this in my last video, but this tool right here, 100% my favorite tool that I have. My wife bought it for me for Christmas last year, and I've used the heck out of this thing. All right. Like I said, I'm really surprised that there's this much gunk down in here with these heads being supposedly reman or rebuilt heads. It had little tags on the end of them that said void, remove, reman. So again, I assume they've been remanufactured. Let's see what we got on this side. Let's pull this one loose and let's hope it comes off just as easy as the other way. Oh yeah, look at that right there. She's coming all right out. Okay. Oh, should have pulled the rock or the push rod, shouldn't I? Whoops. All right. All right, let's see what we got down on this side here. It looks pretty much like the other side, except I do see some water in that back cylinder. So let's see if I can get a shot back in there and vacuum that out. right, I'm gonna take y'all on the ride over here. See what they look like in here. About the same as the other side, honestly. Not terrible. I don't see any crazy scoring. I just see junk. So junk is to be expected from a junkyard motor, right? 100%. So we expect to see that. All right, let's get these lifter trays out and let's keep trucking along. All right, so here we are on the other side. Let's see if we can get these out as well. Already kind of started on getting these tins out that hold the lifter trays in. Let's get these suckers out. All right. There's one tray, two trays. Throw those things down on the ground. Those are junk, garbage. So we can get these lifters out real quick. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. They all seem to be moving pretty well. Clear, looks good. Looks good, I don't see any problems there. That lifter looks pretty clean as well. Trying to see if we can figure out what was making the ticking in this thing, right? You know, so evidently it had a ticking and that's why the motor was replaced. So there's definitely something that was causing it to tick. Now if we can figure out what that was, right? All right, that one looks good. Just a couple left now. Hopefully the camera's trying to focus there for y'all. Last one. Okay, all the rollers are good. All the roller lifters look great. I don't see anything going on with roller lifters. So that's definitely a positive thing for sure. All right. I think next we're going to move to pulling out anything we can as far as the timing cover. Work on pulling that out. And then maybe go ahead and switch over to the oil pan as well. See what we got going on there. All right, guys. Let's go to the next phase here. See what we got in the bottom end of this thing. All right, guys. Thought I'd show you all that it does spin freely around here. You can see the motor spinning nice and free. Pax, check that out, bro. Look at there. See how it goes up and down? How the pistons go up and down? See how they look? Mm-hmm. And so far, kind of what I've noticed here is looking at them, I don't feel any ridges in cylinders 1. I don't feel any ridges in cylinder 3. There's definitely some dark spots here and there. Now I do feel a little bit of a ridge here, right there. Pax, you want to feel that one right down here in the bottom, baby. Feel it right there, right here. Nope, down here, right there. You feel that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A little bit of a ridge right there on cylinder 5. However, it doesn't look to be a crack or anything. It just looks like a really dark spot. So it may hone out and may just be fine. And then look at all back here at 7. Again, that cylinder feels nice and smooth. Kind of going over here to the other side. So number 2, I don't feel any ridges in there, any spots that'll catch a nail or anything. So 4 feels nice and smooth. Number 6 feels pretty good. There is a dark spot at the bottom of 6. Definitely gonna have to check that one out. That one's pretty pitted right there. It's not,
8.
I don't think it's got pits, it's just a dark spot. And then number 8, let's see. 8's got a little spot down there at the bottom, so
Yeah.
kind of looking at everything here just to kind of give you an idea. I don't know if you can see it or not, but looking down here on cylinder 6, you can kind of see those dark spots right in there. And obviously this is something a machine shop will have to check out for me and verify. But kind of looking at some of the other cylinders, you know. Yeah, let's see. There we go. I mean, they look pretty clean. I mean, they really do. You can still see the cross hatching on them. But they're definitely got some wear too, right? Especially that one. That one's pretty rough, and then there's one on the other side that's also kind of rough. So anyways, keep going along for this wonderful ride of tearing apart a junkyard motor. Thank you all so much for hanging with me this far. Stay with me just a little bit longer and we'll get the bottom end of this thing torn apart and see what we got to do. See what kind of parts we need to order. Hopefully we can order some go fast parts. I would love, love, love to make a boost ready 5.3 out of this thing. I believe this is an LM7 if I'm not mistaken from what I've looked at online. It's got the flat top piston, so I believe that's what it is. Alrighty, here we go. Moving over to the bottom end. Alright y'all, we're back today working on this Junkyard 5.3. Hoping we can get down to the bottom end to kind of take a look at what the rods, pistons, crank, all that stuff looks like, see what's salvageable, see what's not. So I've started on this project, gosh, probably a month ago, honestly, and got it to the heads, basically short block, got it this far down, and totally intended on getting it apart way sooner than now. But here we are, life happens, right? That's the way it goes sometimes. So at any rate, let's get started on taking this thing the rest of the way apart. Let's see what we got. Let's hope that there's some, at least some decent factory parts in here that's usable. I'm really hoping the crankshaft is something I can use. I'm not too worried about the rods and pistons because my plan, honestly, is to get a different set of rods and pistons anyways. Get something that'll handle some boost because the plan is to throw some boost at this thing. So we'll see what we're working with, but at any rate, let's get this thing back apart. Let's get wrenching and see what we got. Let's go. All right, now it's time to pull this harmonic balancer off. What I'm going to try to use for this job is some extensions that I have. For some reason, I can't seem to find my 6-inch extension, so put a few extensions there together. And basically, I'm going to use this little cheapo puller here. Hopefully this works out okay. There's teeth that go on the back that hook in these little slots. Let me see if I can get them all in there. Get them lined up. I'll tighten it up, show you what I mean. All right, I think that's got it. Let's see. So you can kind of see on the back of the harmonic balancer, there's some little bitty spots, almost like teeth or indentations where the teeth can hook into. So that's what I'm hooking this thing on. Let's see what it does. Let's hope it pulls it off. About to find out, aren't we? First time pulling a 5.3 harmonic balancer off. So let's see what it does. The nuts off of it. Need that to stay on. It's important. She don't look like she's moving yet, so let's give her a little bit of heat, and then also let's put the regular 9/16 end on here, the impact socket instead of the junky chrome 6-point. Need to go on. There we go. All right, let's see what that does. Let's see. Is it moving? Doesn't look to me. Let's get another bite on it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's hurting anything as far as that goes. It just doesn't look like it's going in, so let's see. Alright, I changed up my method a little bit here. Show you what I did instead. So I took the extensions out because they seem to want to go down and get too far down into there. Instead, I put like a, I think it's a 15/16 socket and an extension pushed into that. We're gonna let that push on the crank and see if that knocks her loose. It does better than what I had before. It may just be this puller sucks. I don't know that this is technically a harmonic balancer puller. It's really more like a 3-jaw puller, but we're gonna give it a whirl, see what we got. Go until she blows, right? Oh, that's hilarious. Well, needless to say, it doesn't look like this puller is going to work. I'm going to try us a different one. Well, as you can see, I got this sucker off, finally. I forgot to film it, but at any rate, I was able to run over to AutoZone and buy a little puller. And I tell you, even though this thing was kind of, looked a little janky, it worked really well. So that was able to get that harmonic balancer off. Now let's get this timing chain off. See what she looks like. Timing chain cover. All right, timer cover's off. Let's roll this thing over. Let's see if we can get to the oil pan. Hopefully we don't drip a ton of oil out of this bad boy. We're about to find out. Oh, water. A little bit of water. Truly, junkyard motor. Look at all the water coming out. Oh yeah. Nice to have the handle for this thing, but I don't have the handle to turn this engine. Wow, there we go. All right, pull this sucker out. Let's see what we got. Just to show what we're working with here. It's definitely not the dirtiest engine on the inside. A little sludge in the oil pan, but not terrible. I mean, that's really not terrible. Take the windage tray off here to see. 14 millimeter. Let's see what those are. Bigger than 13. Is it? Okay. 13 or 14 millimeter, which means probably a half. Wow. Half inch. Okay. Whatever, if it works, it works. O-ring looks pretty wore out, but that's to be expected. All right, finally, meat and potatoes. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Battery's almost dead, unfortunately. Honestly, taking a look inside the engine here, it really looks clean. I mean, everything looks pretty darn clean. Let me see if I get a better angle on the phone here. Here we go. I mean, it looks very clean on the inside. So, let's see here. A little bit of side-to-side play, but not much. Same there. Same there. Same there. I don't feel any up and down play on these rods so far, though. That's a good sign. Let's see. Yeah, I don't feel any up and down play as of yet. Okay, well. See if these last two, I don't know if you can tell down there, but a little side to side, but I don't feel any up and down play. Okay. All right, well, that's a good sign. Let's see if we can start pulling apart. Let's get this oil pan gasket out of the way first. This thing is stuck on. All right. Well, unfortunately, my battery's about to die on this light, so I'm losing all the power here. But man, that one piston there is full of oil. It looks like it all collected in those two pistons. Well, turn the engine over, but that's okay. All right. Well, hey, cut this light off. Let's go ahead and buzz the oil pump off, and that's that. Perfect. Should get the oil pump off. There we go. Oh, really and truly, from what I was told, this engine has like around 200,000 miles on it or so, but I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way that I can tell. I got this from my brother, and I know it was a junkyard engine, but from what he said, there had been some work on it at some point in time and it had been changed. So the truck had like 200,000 miles on it. I don't know how many miles this motor has, but it was supposedly making a ticking noise. So but supposedly when he pulled it, it was running. It was still pulling, making a little bit of power, but it was ticking. So my hope is I can get away with just rebuilding it. Love to get some forged rods and pistons for it, but we'll see. All right, let's check out LS Cam, y'all. See if I've got I can use this screwdriver here, I think. We're gonna try anyways. Oh, I gotta get the cam plate off. Forget LS is like an LT1, you gotta take the cam plate off. Cam retainer coming on. I like how it seems like almost every single one of these bolts are the same freaking size. That's amazing. That is not the case with a regular old small block Chevy. Just saying. Not even close. Okay. Let's see what we could do with this little cam here. Maybe not be able to move it without. Probably gonna have to put some little bolts in it or something. See if I can put a couple of these bolts in here, if that'll give me enough to get it moved. It's in there. Oh, there it goes. There she comes slowly. There she's coming out. Well, she doesn't want to move from there. Let's see what I might be missing here. I might have left the sensor in. Let's flip it and find out. Ooh, a little oil. A little oil. There we go. Ooh. That's part of the problem. Let's see. Well, maybe not. Doesn't seem to want to move. Okay. Just be caught up in one of the I know there's no lifters left in it for sure. See all the way through there. Man, this thing's really hung up in there. Cam says, nah, I want to stay stock cam. No boost for me. I think it's actually hitting on one of the rods. May seem silly, but I think it is. All right, well, for now, you wouldn't think so. People do cam swaps all the time without having to Pull the damn rods out. It's definitely getting tongue on that. Isn't the third cam journal back in there? I hope this isn't a scenario where the cam bearing's coming out with the cam. I hope not. It could be though. Alright, well, we're going to leave the cam in for now then. Well, I guess we'll have to rotate it around and deal with that when I get to it, I suppose. Alright, let's see what we can do with the mains. Get all the rod caps off. One other thing I do want to do, I want to mark these pistons. Not that I'm going to reuse them, but I think it'd be a smart idea to mark them. That way when I put the rods back on, I put them back in the same spot. So let's do that real quick. Let's go. This is looking at the motor. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, got them marked. I've heard that in some cases with some LSs, the cam bearings like come loose or get crooked in there, and that makes it to where you can't get it out. I don't know if that's what's happening right now, but we're gonna find out. It's an 11, just kidding. Okay. All right, let's check out these bearings. Let's see what we got here. Well, it stayed on the crank. All right, let me see if y'all can see that at all. Woo. I don't think it's supposed to have that ridge in there. Crank looks really good though, so that's a plus. All right, here's first piston out, number 1. There we go. Man, if that is the, shoo, I don't know if you can see that. Sorry, let's see. Check this out, guys. See if you can see this in here. Can you see that? Dang, what a ridge. Shoo. Okay. Well, that's one of them out. Let's keep going. Now I'm wondering if the crank is even going to be salvageable. All right, let's see what we got. Wow. You can see the copper on these. Look at this. You can see it starting to turn. Yeah, you can kind of see the copper a little bit on that one. That's not a good sign. All right, well, shoot. All right. Keep rotating. Okay. This right here. All right. Slowly but surely. Shoo. I feel like some of these rods actually spun, or the rod bearing spun, because these things are looking absolutely pitiful. The bearings are shot. Which would make sense. As to why this thing was ticking but still running. All right, let's pull this one out. Let's see. How's this one looking? That one don't look too terrible. Look at some of these pistons though. Check this out. So you can see pretty heavy wear on the skirts. Both sides. The rods look really good. They just really dirty. That's really about it. All right. Let's see if any of these. Let's see if we can see any markings on these. markings picking up at all? Not really, huh? They say GM stamped right there. Oops. See it? See GM? I'm hoping they're factory standard bearings. There's a number on this side, so looks like it's H1984. Normally they'll say standard though. Right there it is. There it is, right there. Standard. Okay, sorry. See that at all? Standard. Right there on the edge. Standard STD. That is a good thing. Hot dog. That makes me feel good. Standard means these if the crank needed to be turned, we've got room to turn it. So that is awesome. That is what I wanted to see. Okay. The main reason I am trying to keep these all together is in case I decide to go back with the same rods and reuse. I'll have everything back the way it came, at least rods back on pistons, and I know what cylinders they come out of. I already know for a fact I will not be putting those pistons back in this motor. It's just not going to happen. Let's see what we got here. Let's check it out. See what I got done so far. Alright, so here's up close. Here's each one of the journals. I mean, they all look honestly pretty clean. Let's go back here to the back one so you can see them up close. See how clean they look. They look really stinking clean. I mean, I don't feel any, I mean, just between, I feel like that little groove, but that's just where the rods didn't touch. Like if I feel each one of these here, I don't feel anything. Nothing catches my nail. I know typically older men would say, and maybe newer, younger men too, I don't know. But from what I have heard and been told over the years, if you can catch it with your nail, it 100% needs to be turned. Something needs to be done to it. This one looks really good. I mean, it could definitely be polished, 100%. Polish would be amazing, but don't look too bad, I don't think. So, okay. Well, the only thing I need to do now, I still gotta get the flex plate off. I've left it on there this whole time. I think I can pop it off real quick. And then from there, let's take the mains out, main caps and the main bolts, and I think we're good. All right, let's do that. All right, let's get the flex plate off. Let's see if we can figure out what size it is. This is a 5/8. Yeah, it's a little smaller than 5/8. 16, 17 millimeter. 17 is too big. In there. Okay. Talk about the sludge coming out, yeah. Okay. Let's get these bad boys out. Got me a box over here. Put it in the box. These will be replaced regardless because these are torque to yield from my understanding, so we'll use them once. I'm not too worried about these. However, do want to keep the main caps in order. Ooh, hello. Alright. Okay, now these on the side here are pretty small. I think they're like a 12. So here's why they say that almighty LS is so strong, hard from forward, whatever. You've got 6-bolt mains here, so you got 2 here, and 1 on each side. So it's 2, 4, 5, 6. So 6-bolt mains in these bad boys, which are supposed to make them way stronger. I don't know if I would say they're way stronger, but they can hold up on good power. So. Okay, I guess that done. Let me see if I've got my Sharpie again. I want to try to mark these mains. This Sharpie's looking kind of rough though, so see if it'll do it or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This is the most important thing, really. I want to keep these in the right direction too. And it looks as if they all point. So let's go that way, that way, that way, that way. And this is the back. It goes. Alright, let's see if we can get these suckers loose. There's just a lot of gunk and build up on the insides of these cylinders, and I think that's part of the reason why they're stuck in there so good. Again, guessing. This also gives me a chance to look at the main caps, or the main bearings, I should say. Alright, so here's the front main. See how it looks. Whew! She's 8 to pieces. Well, you can definitely feel your... Man, I swear. Doesn't look like it's walked any. It's just, holy smokes, that thing's eat up. Okay. Let's keep going with them here. pull these bad boys out. That's the front one. It goes here. This one goes. There. I'll leave that one in because the full thrust bearing on it. Okay. That goes out. Goes here. And the last one goes there. Now let's see if I can get this camshaft out. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. It don't look bad. I guess it's gonna have to come out the back, which I sure hope not. Man, I can't seem to get this camshaft to want to move. Like, what the heck, bro? Well, I'll tell you, this camshaft is no like you. Earlier it was at least spinning. Now I can't get the damn thing to even spin. Looks like it's not touching anywhere though. It's that one right there. It's right there and it does not want to move. Alright, has anybody seen this before? Because I sure haven't. Obviously, first time taking this motor apart, or any motor like this apart, I cannot get this cam to want to come out. I mean, it's not that much different than any other small block Chevy cam. I don't understand what's happening here. Like, this does not want to budge. It's like it gets to right where that is right there. It does not want to budge. It's that middle cam bearing. It's the third cam bearing back. It's like it gets hung up right there in that cam bearing. It does not want to come past it. I'm just not understanding why. It's that bearing shoved sideways in there. I guess it's possible. Man. I guess it's right there. That's as far as she'll come. Well, may have to save this cam for another day. What I may end up having to do is put it on the cherry picker, see if I can get it to go out the back, because it'll also go out the back, from my understanding. If I can get it out the back, that'll work too, but man, that stinks. I really want to see that cam. I mean, it's just so close. Let's see, let's turn her over. Alright, let's see. There we go. Alright. Gets everything out. Let's pause for a minute. Alright, so here we go, guys. Check this sucker out. That was the third cam bearing in this motor. So as you saw earlier, I kept trying to pull on the cam, right? Pull, 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 no matter what I did. Could not get it out. So what it ended up having to do is get everything out of the engine, crank, rods, pistons, all that stuff, get it down to pretty much a bare block minus the cam. And then took a, I don't know, some piece of rod that I found somewhere on the side of the road, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and beat it with a big old hammer. And I had to actually beat the cam out the back side of the engine because somehow this cam bearing had a spot in it, and it was just a little rolled up spot in the cam bearing. It wasn't this rolled up, obviously, but it was rolled up just a little bit. And no matter what I did, the cam would not come out the front section because of that rolled up spot. So the cam itself rolled off of the bearing, but that little edge there would catch the other cam bearing coming past it, not come out no matter what it did. So I beat the cam out the back of the motor. As you can see, still got one of these stuck on the cam here. Thank goodness I'm getting a new one. Here's the other two. They come out. They separated into pieces. Obviously, they're all trashed on the inside, but more than likely that's not from the engine. That's from me beating the heck out of this thing. But there it is. So the good news today is that I've got this sucker tore completely down. I will have to say that's a first in my life to have to beat a cam out of the engine block with a leather mallet and a steel rod. I mean, I have never in my life thought I would ever have to do something like that. That was insane. But hey, you live and you learn. So it's out. It's down to bare block. Now it's time to get it over to the machine shop and see what they say about, is this a salvageable block? And I tell you, it better be a dang salvageable block after all this beating and banging and all that stuff I had to go through just to get a cam out. If not, it's ridiculous. So here we are, guys. Hang with me. Hopefully the next piece of this video that we have coming out, we'll have some more information on what we're going to do to this thing. Maybe I'll have some information on what pistons, rods, at least try to find out if it's salvageable or not. That's going to be the next key thing. So stay with me. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.